92.7. This bulletin is coming to you live from our studios here at Adisawa Kenda, and also streaming live on Facebook. We're also live at Kesmi 107.1 FM. I am Enyuna Mpaliga. Coming up this morning, ECOWAS Community Court of Justice dismisses injunction application by former Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo seeking to halt the work of the committee that investigated her removal from office. Also, the Minister of Roads and Highways announces major clampdown on overload vehicles, insisting that excess loads will now be seized, auctions and proceeds directed to the state coffers. And much later, Heath Goldfields Limited confirms the death of 3 illegal miners who entered the Prestea concession in the western region. Details of these and other stories, please stay with us. Now, to our first story. The Community of Justice of the ECOWAS has dismissed an application by the former Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo seeking a temporal halt of the work of a fact-finding committee probing a petition for her removal. Justice Torkornoo had asked the court to issue a provisional measure to protect her rights and prevent what she described as irreparable harm while her substantive case is being heard. But in a ruling delivered this morning, the ECOWAS court held that the application was filed too late, more than 8 weeks after her suspension and over 6 weeks after the committee had already begun its hearings. The court said the delays undermine the urgency and exceptional circumstances required to justify a temporary halt of the proceedings. Meanwhile, Attorney General has been given 30 days to file a response to substantive case filed by the former Chief Justice. Now let's take a listen to the rendering of the ruling by the chairman of the ECOWAS court panel.
While the applicant met the 5-year timeline for applying for review, but their failure to satisfy the requirements of the new facts renders the compliance invaluable, as the requirement of admissibility of an application for review are cumulative. The absence of one of them is sufficient to endanger the admissibility of the application. In the light of the foregoing, the court hereby declares that the application for revision of judgment number ECW/CCJ/JUD/44/23 delivered on the 24th of November 2023 is inadmissible. And for that reason, sitting in public, the court declares that it has jurisdiction to determine this case. However, declares the application is inadmissible and orders each party to bear the cost. The full complement of this judgment will be made available to parties upon signature by panel members.
And so that was the rendering by the chair of the ECOWAS court dismissing the injunction application filed by the former Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo seeking to halt the work of the committee that was investigating her removal from office. Now let's bring in private legal practitioner Austin Bracco-Powers. Counsel, if you can hear me, first off, what do you make of the dismissal of the application for interim measure and reasons the court gave?
Yes, let me say a good afternoon to your listeners and those who are watching on social media. I think this is a sound judgment, because I have said earlier that, first of all, when you look at Articles 79 to 86 of the ECOWAS Court Rules of Procedure on interim measures, when you are asking the court to grant you certain measures, the request must be urgent. It must be in the nature of, there must be some urgency around it. And the police of fact and the law establishing the prima facie case for the interim measures will apply. Now, when you look at the surrounding facts, you realize that the dismissed Chief Justice waited for some time before applying to or filing the case at the ECOWAS court, the basis of which she applied for the interim measures. So she was supposed to have disclosed that it was urgent. But here's a case that she went to the court sometimes some months after the suspension. So there was no urgency around the issue. You understand? So I see the decision of the ECOWAS court on that basis, on the application, very sound. Because there must be some level of urgency around it. Now you've been suspended for some time, you sat there, you sat on your right, you didn't challenge it, and you allow the substructure or substratum to change. Because the minute she was suspended, they had to appoint an acting Chief Justice. Then now we have a substantive Chief Justice. So the substratum, the foundation, the basis of which she could stage a comeback has been completely changed. So I agree with the decision of the ECOWAS court. Now, on the issue of the jurisdiction, and the jurisprudence of the ECOWAS court is clear that a mere allegation of human rights violation is enough to confer jurisdiction on it. And that its jurisdiction is established once the facts brought before it relate to human rights violation. And when you look at the application by the dismissed Chief Justice, she was citing or raising issues of breach of human rights violation. And when you and Article 9(4) of the 2005 ECOWAS supplementary protocol, it's clear on that. So I didn't see any reasonable justification for the government to, in fact, challenge the jurisdiction of the ECOWAS court. I saw it as an activity that will not yield any fruit. So basically, and the decision of the ECOWAS court today, I think it's very sound. And on two fronts, they've dealt with the matter as it should be. And the government should go and prepare their defense. Because so long as the dismissed Chief Justice has raised issues of breach of fundamental human rights or violations of a human right, the ECOWAS court has clear jurisdiction under Article 9(4) of the supplementary protocol.
Now, we know the AG has filed 30 days to file a response to the substantive case going forward. Now, what legal strategy would you expect the parties involved to adopt?
No, I think clearly the government will want to go and say that, obviously the argument of the government will be that, no, they didn't cause any harm, either reputation-wise or breach of a fundamental human right by dismissing her from her role or getting her out of her role. And that the dismissed justice will also have to now marshal arsenals, defend why indeed she feels that her rights have been breached. I think we are in for a battle, but I know that if the dismissed justice succeeds, she's likely to be awarded damages. So in some sum, it could be nominal damages, but the ECOWAS jurisprudence is clear. If you are able to ground a case or if you succeed in proving a case of violation, on one front, you may be entitled to declaratory relief. But if you're able to prove damages, that you suffered some special damages, then in that case, then you'll be entitled to special damages. So it is now within the court of the dismissed Chief Justice to prove that, one, if there was any violation of a human right, those violations occasion some special damages or occasion some injury to her. She must prove these two things in order to be entitled to special damages, which will be in a various sum. Other than that, if she succeeds in proving that her rights were violated, she may be entitled to nominal damages as well as declaratory reliefs, which declaratory reliefs would be just to say that the government, indeed, by dismissing you from your office, breach your fundamental human rights. But would that be enough after she has been dismissed and her entitlement after so many years on the bar, on the bench, denied her? That would be an egregious crime, and that would be an affront to human rights. But it is early in the day. We are hoping that this will be a major battle ahead of the country.
Counsel, thank you so much for your time this afternoon, and that's private legal practitioner Austin Bracco Powers there. Now, moving on to some other stories, the Minister for Roads, Highways, Kwame Govins-Agbadza, has announced an intermittent nationwide clampdown on overloaded vehicles, describing the practice as a major contributor to rapid destruction of roads across the country. He warned that transport operators who flout axle road regulations will face strict sanctions. Excess load, he said, will be seized, auctioned, and proceeds paid into the state coffers. He spoke to Roland Walker on TV3's New Day.
We are taking steps to make sure that the regime where anybody can carry any size of goods on our roads will change, because we've had studies that show that even if we finish all the investment, call it 10 billion on the road, and we allow the current regime where people overload 180 tons, 150 tons on the road, it will still deteriorate within 3 years. So we are taking steps to make sure that.
How do you intend doing that?
Okay.
Using the axle loads or making them more effective, etc.? Because the axle load points, etc., have been points of corruption, have been meddled in by middlemen, etc., that their use have not been effective.
A combination of things. Currently, we know that half of the problem comes from the Tema port. The vehicles overload from Tema port. And there are service providers that are contracted by the state. And if they are listening to me, we know. You are contracted by the state. You have built a weighing station at the port. Yet some of these third-party service providers connive with some unpatriotic custom officers and allow vehicles to load and not use the weigh bridge, and then they get away with it. And as you said, when they get onto the highways as well, the regime of the compliance enforcement has been lax, partly because the level of penalty. Currently, they charge the maximum 5,000. You may be aware that there's a fees and charges in Parliament that raises that penalty of 5,000 to 50,000. We believe that will be an amount of terrain. We are also trying to work with the stakeholders that in the past, when you overload, they just tell you to offload the overloaded section and bring another truck to pick it, to pick the excess load. We are working with the stakeholders to say that now if you overload, when the overloaded portion is taken off, it's not given to you. It is auctioned and proceed given to the state. We believe a combination of these things will be enough deterrent to stop people from overloading.
Minister of Roads and Highways, Kwame Govins-Agbadza. We're taking a break. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Ghana, it's a new year and Bills Microcredit is here to support your dreams. If you're not working but want to start a business, don't let money stop you. With just your Ghana card, you can get a loan to turn your ideas into reality. Already running a business? Need more capital? Or are you a salary worker looking for extra funds? Bills offers fast and easy loans with no collateral, no deposit, and no SUSI savings required. Wherever you are, whatever you need, Bills makes it happen. Call Bills Microcredit today. Call 0596-920-833 or 0302-200-390 and get started. Bills is licensed and regulated by the Bank of Ghana. Bills, financing your needs. Terms and conditions apply.
It's still the midday news here on 3FM 92.7. Now to some environmental stories now. Heath Goldfields Limited has confirmed the death of 3 illegal miners who entered into Prestea's concession in the western region. The miners reportedly used unauthorized routes to access a restricted, inactive underground section of the mine where they became trapped. Their death follows widespread reports in the Bogosu Prestea enclave suggesting that as many as 11 illegal miners may have been trapped after part of the abandoned mine caved in over the weekend. In a statement issued today, Heath Goldfields expressed deep sorrow, extending condolences to the family and wider Prestea community. The mining firm says to cooperating fully with the Ghana Police Service, the Ministry, the Minerals Commission, and the National Disaster Management Organization as investigation and recovery efforts continue. It's commended emergency teams for their swift and professional response. Now we'll take you on the phone lines where my colleague Irama Smith has been monitoring Information Development and joins us on the phone for details. Now, Rama, if you can hear me, do we know whether more miners are still trapped underground and what efforts are being currently underway to verify the exact number involved?
I can hear you, dear. Thank you. The company is still investigating to see or searching to try to find other miners. For now, they cannot tell if anyone is trapped there, but they are suspicious of more people being trapped in there because they usually move in groups, not less than 3. So they have the suspicion that more people are trapped in there. And now we have the Ministry, the Minerals Commission, we have NADMO, we have the security agencies, and all other stakeholders involved in trying to find more bodies. They are challenged because of the gas that is emanating from these pits. But as of this morning, when I spoke to the chairman of the Prestea Urban Council, I was informed that the 3 bodies have been identified and buried, and work is still ongoing to try to find other bodies.
Right. Now let's speak about the security gaps that allowed the miners to have access to an inactive and restricted underground concession. I believe you've spoken with the mining company. What have they been saying?
Right. In many of the mining concessions, you find that usually some of the pits are not given, but they look the other way when the indigents access it, because the miners would have, or the company would have completed mining there and would not be too keen on investing money into those particular pits because of the grade of minerals that they find there. So these pits are usually left for the indigents to also access. This one, we understand that, they have levels when you go to the pit from level 1 to about 30. Over here, from level 6, you understand the indigents have access to level 6 to 9. And it is this level that this incident happened. So the security at this level is usually lax because they are not too interested in mining for the quality or the grade of minerals that exists at this level.
Irama, thank you so much. That was my colleague Irama Smith, who's bringing us updates on some 3 illegal miners who died when they entered the Prestea concession in the Western region. Now, moving on. Following recent rampant devastating fire incidents across the country, the National Disaster Management Organization in the Ashanti region is stepping up its operation Stop Fire Disasters. Officials are targeting markets where negligence and poor safety standards are fueling situations.
The campaign intensification follows alarming data from the Ghana National Fire Service, which recorded over 50 fire outbreaks across Ashanti region in the last 3 months. A statistic that has pushed disaster managers to move beyond education towards enforcement. NADMO checks between October and November uncovered a pervasive lack of basic fire safety tools in markets.
Some of the big shops did not have very basic things like smoke detectors, like fire alarms. They have not trained their staff on what to do in case of fire or any kind of disaster. They have no assembly points. They have inadequate extinguishers and all of that. In fact, we did some banks and a few others. In all, the picture was not rosy.
Officials also report a dangerous culture of complacency and direct violation of safety protocols.
From October to now, we have visited a total of 30 markets or locations. The same things we observed from the reports of last year. We realize they are still pertaining. 1, poor wiring. Even in Kejetia, the brand new Kejetia, there are some, improper wiring. Our traders are busily cooking, left, right, centers. I'm not talking about, stipulated chop bars or eateries. No. You meet this woman, she says she has ulcer, so she doesn't eat chop bar food. So she has a cold pot, between her legs, and she's selling plastics. Her neighbor is selling sewing materials.
Despite repeated warnings, the destructive fires continue, devastating livelihood and threatening economic activities. To break this cycle, the Operation Stop Fire Disasters Initiative is adopting a tougher stance. NADMO has announced it will now collaborate directly with law enforcement agencies to ensure compliance with fire safety laws. After the educational phase, traders who flout the law will be made to sign bonds of good behavior, formally committing not to cook or bring prohibited equipment into the market. This is expected to improve compliance and douse the rampant flames in the city.
Now, still in the Ashanti region, but this time on illegal mining, residents of Tabosere, a farming community in the Amansie South district of the Ashanti region, are raising safety concerns following the invasion of illegal miners in the area. The assemblyman, together with two unit committee members, have fled the community after they were allegedly attacked by miners for speaking against their activities that have resulted in the destruction of their farms and water bodies. Now, joining us on phone for a development on that is my colleague Ibrahim Abubakar. Ibrahim, if you can hear us, what more can you report regarding the destruction in the Tabosere district by the illegal miners?
Well, I can tell you that you go there at the moment, their only source of water has been destroyed. The land is being also destroyed. As we speak, the miners are still there, engaging in their illegal activity. And the residents said even though there has been an illegal mining operation in the community, but it was manageable until in June this year when another set came in claiming that their party is in power, and for that matter, they have come there to take over the mining site. And when the assembly member and the unit committee members tried to speak against it, then they became targets. So currently, you go to the community, I can tell majority of the men in the community have disappeared because of brutalities that they have alleged being meted out to them by these illegal miners who are wielding machete and also guns and roaming in the community. So for the past 3-4 months, the assemblyman and some of the unit committees have not been able to even access the community because they fear for their lives. And residents are also complaining because they say the destruction continues unabated. And for that matter, for now, they are just calling on NIMOS to visit the community and make sure that they stop this illegality from going on. I spoke to the assembly member for the area, Fosu Sylvester. Let's listen to what he has been saying.
When these metro men invaded in the community, people's lives have been threatened, beaten in some cases, and chased out of the community. The latest among the casualties are two of my community's members. They are here. The chairman included was attacked, and others were beaten, brutalized, and humiliated daylight without mercy and no one to rescue. Myself has been threatened and warned not to step a foot in the community. For close to 6 months now, I have not been able to perform my duty as an assembly member. Not only that, my report has been sent to police commander and the necessary authorities, but brutalities, intimidation, humiliation, and victimization of people there continue with impunity, with none coming to our aid. I use this opportunity to appeal for immediate government intervention and to rescue the situation of the people of Tabosere.
Ibrahim, we've heard from victims. What about the authorities? What have they been saying and the reaction from the police or the district assembly?
Made attempt to speak to the Amansie South District Police Command. They didn't give us any hearing. They are tight-lipped on the matter. We also made effort to speak to the DC, who is the chairman of DICES for the area, and he said they are just taking steps to ensure that they flush out these illegal miners. But as to when they will take this step, it's something he has refused to give us any timeline. So we have also informed the Ashanti Regional Minister, who says he wasn't aware of the situation, but now that it has come to his attention, he also ensured that the necessary effort is being undertaken to make sure they flush out all these illegal miners and bring back the residents to their community.
Thank you, Ibrahim. And that was my colleague Ibrahim Abubakar speaking on a worrying development in the Sabosire community. Now, moving on to some health story, the Ghana Health Service is cautioning Ghanaians to take necessary precautions in protecting themselves, although no case of Marburg virus has been recorded in the country. This follows the report of an outbreak in Ethiopia where deaths have been recorded. My colleague Beatrice Adu has more in this report.
As part of efforts to prepare the country against the possible outbreak of the Marburg virus, the Ghana Health Service visited key institutions, including the Ghana Infectious Disease Center, Kotoka International Airport, Pantine Hospital, and the Public Health Emergency Operations Center, to assess national readiness. The Marburg virus, which spreads through direct contact with infected bodily fluids or contaminated materials, has symptoms which include high fever, severe headache, and muscle pain, often followed by vomiting and diarrhea. In more serious cases, patients may experience bleeding from the nose, gums, and internal organs. During the inspection of facilities, officials revealed that preparedness measures are underway to ensure the country is adequately equipped to combat any possible outbreak. Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Professor Samuel Kaba Akoria, advised health officers to remain vigilant.
We have not reported any case.
We do know that we have 2 flights coming from Ethiopia on daily basis to Ghana with over 200 passengers in each of them, and most are Ghanaians. Our people at the port health should be prepared in case of any suspicious or suspected case. We are monitoring events worldwide 24 hours. We've also activated our national case management team, the surveillance team. We want to assure the Ghanaians to keep the routine and be calm. However, should practice our regular infection prevention and control exercise. Wash your hands, use your sanitizers, your face masks anywhere you find yourself.
The Ghana Health Service further announced that as part of enhanced protocols, arriving passengers will be questioned and screened to ensure thorough checks for potential exposure to the virus.
And that was the report of my colleague Beatrice Adu on the Ghana Health Service cautioning Ghanaians to take necessary precautions in protecting themselves against the Marburg disease, although no case has been recorded yet. And that was the midday news here on 3FM 92.7. For more news, please check our website at 3news.com. I am Enyunam Hadiga. Business News with Christabel Success Trevor is up next.
Hello, good afternoon and welcome to Business Daily on 3FM 92.7. Coming up, GRA confirms new VAT reforms to take effect January 2026 as Parliament considers proposal to abolish COVID-19 levy, reduce effective VAT rate and boost business growth. I am Christabel. Success Trevor will bring you the details of our headline story shortly. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with us here. And the Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, Anthony Kwesi Sapong, has confirmed that the new VAT reforms announced in the 2026 national budget are expected to take effect from January 2026 once they receive presidential assent before the end of the year. The reforms, which include abolishing the COVID-19 levy, removing the decoupling of Get Fund and NHIS levies from the VAT tax base, eliminating VAT on mineral reconnaissance and prospecting, reducing the effective VAT rate from 1.9% to 20%, and increasing the registration threshold from 200,000 to 750,000 Ghana cedis are expected to boost household incomes, support businesses, and accelerate economic transformations. To other stories, Ghana has developed its first national mortality table, marking a major milestone in the country's insurance and pension sector. The locally tailored data is expected to improve pricing accuracy, regulatory oversight, and investor confidence across live-based financial products. Speaking at an event organized by the Actuarial Society of Ghana, pioneers of the initiative, President Kofi Ntim said the move positions Ghana for stronger actuarial standards and long-term fiscal resilience. We'll bring you that in our subsequent bulletins, and that'll be it for the business segment here on 3FM 92.7. My name is Christabel Success Trevor. Enjoy the rest of our programs.